This is how I make my essay plans for A-level history in order to get top grades. Essay plans are literally one of the best revision methods you can do for A-level history, and I always say that, and you guys always ask me how I make mine, so I thought I'd show you. So I've got a few examples here. So this is kind of just like a typical 20 marker essay plan. So what I do is I write the question at the top, and then I leave a box for the introduction, and then I split it into 4 factors. So I only write about 3, I only do like 3 factors in my essays, but if it's quite a broad question, I'll split this into 4 so that I can apply it more to whatever exam question I'm going to get, because sometimes you might do 3 here and then get a question where only 2 of those apply. So I like to do this when it's possible. Sometimes I can't think of 4, so I will only do 3. And then I will do a conclusion box. For each of the factors, I will put the name of the factor at the top, that's what's in blue, and then I do a tiny box of like my main argument for that factor. So like, was it the most significant, or like, was it the most serious, or the most successful, least successful, moderately successful, whatever it is. And then information with counter views, and then a little judgment. I try for my essay plans to not just get information from one place. So for example, like when I'm doing flashcards and stuff like that, a lot of the time it will just be like straight from the textbook, or if I do some like homework, it'll be straight from like what we get in lesson. I try and make these collation is not a word, but I try and collate information from like textbook, YouTube video, sheets in lesson, anything like that here, so that it has kind of all things. So if I can get just enough information from one place, I probably will, because otherwise this will probably take you 5 hours. But if I'm missing information and I know that somewhere else also has it, I'll use that. I also, like, this sounds like it's like cheating, but obviously it's not. I really find it useful to steal information from exemplar essays, whether those are ones that your teachers give you or ones on the exam board website. Exemplar essays, argument, and their information is really good. So like, obviously don't just copy, but reshape you can copy their precise knowledge, but I'm just saying don't like redo their essay as an essay plan using like basically their whole essay, because then it's just not going to help you. But reshaping their argument and using influence from their argument and then copying their precise knowledge is absolutely fine. Anyways, that's a basic like 20 mark one. Sometimes if there is less information, I'll just do it on an A4 sheet like this. So same thing, question, introduction, factor, argument, factor. Then this is like quite well structured into counter view, because this one's quite, a little bit easier to answer, so that's why I could put it onto an A4. And then I did judgment as well, because I do OCR and they love judgment, so I make sure that my judgment is clear. Also, if you can see that I have purple and black writing on there, I try and do some analysis of the information in purple. Obviously, analysis is like where you get most of your marks in A-level history. However, I do not have the space all the time to write all of my analysis on here, but sometimes some good bits of analysis to back up information, I put them in purple, just so that they're on there. Also here we've got, you can see in brown I've put like failed or succeeded, and then I've also put least, like most, medium, of like to how far they failed. And then I also have one here, this is a Russia turning point essay. So these ones are shaped a little bit differently because you have to include like the whole Russia force in there. So I've just made sure that I've got a solid structure and then put that into an essay plan. So this one has factor, synoptic sentence, main point, factor and question, link, comparison, second factor, link, limitations and comparisons, third factor, limitations and comparisons, judgment and conclusion. So yeah, that's how I do them. That's basically it. I really want to do another one today, but I don't have any paper. But I just have these lying around, which is what I use like the measurements for the lines on. So I just like put that behind and copy out where the lines are. But yeah, I hope this is helpful to you if you do A-level history. Bit of a casual video. I've kind of just like not stopped the camera really once and just kept talking, but I just want to make sure that is clear and I'm not cutting anything out that might help with an explanation into how these work. And then I haven't actually started doing this yet, but the plan is to then memorize these and write them out. So the plan is to use these as blurting information and also to write them out. So at the moment I'm writing them out with the essay plan in front of me, and then the plan is closer to the exam, do them more from memory, but I haven't memorized them all right now. So yeah, I also do use other methods for memorizing information, such as flashcards, but this is a good, because obviously I can't fit everything about, this is about Catholic threat, I can't fit everything about Catholic threat onto this, so this is just kind of condensed down, but it also forces me to condense down my information a lot more than I typically would, which is really good because I do struggle with trying not to just include everything possible. Like, it's so easy just to write down everything you know, because obviously you need to have the structure and you need to leave space on your essay plans. It can be really good if you tend to always try and memorize like the whole textbook, to have it like this, because then you're less likely to do that. Anyway, once you have all of this, it's just essay plans, and I've only started doing essay plans since January. I never did a single one before January. Like, I wish I did them in year 12. And I've already made this many. They do take a while, but they're quite enjoyable to do, and because they're so effective, that it's quite motivating to be able to do them. But yeah, I hope this helped.